Hey guys, I'm Kevin.
And I'm Jake.
We're two bros with benefits, and we've got another great show for you lined up for tonight. We've got another friend of ours that we've known for quite a while, and have some really fun hot topics and some good questions to put him in the hot seat. So stay with us and enjoy the show.
Episode 6. Let's go.
All right, guys, we're back with Two Bros with Benefits podcast. I'm Kevin.
And I'm Jake.
We have another guest on today, another friend of ours, another bro, and we've got a lot to talk about with him. But first, we do need to talk about our giveaways that we have going on. We had last week's episode. We asked the question, Jake. What was the question we asked?
The question. Oh, it was about Logan's chest piece.
Oh, yes. What does Logan have on his chest?
Yeah.
And we actually had a couple people respond. Actually, the guest tonight responded, but he was not the winner. Sorry. So the winner was actually our brother-in-law, Josh Kern. You've heard us talk about him on the podcast a few times already. So he will be getting some swag sent his way. But now to today's episode, we've got.
I want to say one thing, but I will say our special guest. I really do. We do appreciate you at least emailing us and commenting in the answer, because now we know we at least have 5 listeners. We've had 3 people answer. Actually, I guess it would be 6. So we got Adam.
Yeah.
Adam, Blake, maybe 5.
Corey.
Yeah. So at least Corey, we at least know we got 5 or 6 listeners now. So yeah, we do appreciate you at least commenting and letting us know what you thought. But maybe next time you'll win.
Yeah, and anyway. Jake and I have both been talking too. We've had just not random, but other friends reach out that we didn't know if they were listening or not. Just other people that we have known in the past that reached out and said that they like it and they're listening to it. So
yeah,
that's
shout
cool.
out to
that's why
Chris
we do
Rogers.
This. So.
We appreciate you. Shout out to Chris Rogers. Shout out to Josh Barnes. Thanks for reaching out and letting us know that you appreciate and like our content. We really appreciate you. It's very encouraging whenever you get good input that we're giving something that's at least entertaining people, whether it be like when they're driving to work or in their office, popping on a podcast. So we really appreciate all the feedback. For all you other people out there, yeah, you guys are slacking. Send us some words of encouragement or give us some critiques. We don't mind. We can take it.
Yeah. I mean, well, we'll take it lightly. Yeah, we'll take it with a grain of salt, depending on the critique.
Agree with you. But agree to disagree, but we will take it.
We know we're better than you, so
right.
Yeah. But yeah, tonight we've got another bro. He's actually been a friend of both of ours, but probably mine a little bit longer. Strange enough, he went to high school at the same school we went to, but didn't actually hang out with him until after high school. And he actually was probably closer to being out of college for all of us when we really started getting to know him and getting to hang out with him. But became a really good friend of ours. He just recently moved back to Newburgh and lives fairly close to me, so we get together often. And yeah, Jake, what do you have anything to say?
He's right down the road from you now, isn't he? I mean, he's pretty close.
Yeah.
He rides what's it called? What are those things called? Like in China.
That little what is it? That I know
he knows.
I was trying to think of something funny. Yeah. It's a tricycle. Kid's tricycle that he rides just around the street and tries to be cool. Look at an adult riding a tricycle. He comes on.
But anyways, yeah, I mean, that's what I was going to say is somebody that he went to our high school and I regret not like having encounters with him before we got out of high school, but he came along, hanging out with you, Logan's friend, and I got to meet him, and he's just a really great guy and somebody that I look up to as a role model as far as being a father. He's got a couple little girls. They're twins actually, and I'm a new father to a little girl, so it's fun to get words of wisdom from him and see him interact with his girls and knowing that's what I get to look forward to. So, I mean, yeah, I think that says it all.
Yeah.
With that, I'll let you introduce
So
him.
our guest today, it's our friend Drew Heilman.
Hey, there he is. He's
What
proud
up?
to be an American when at least I know I'm free.
Oh,
I love
man.
it.
Patriot right there.
I know. Well, I don't even know
Gosh.
if I know those words. I can sing the national anthem for you, but I don't know about that one.
He comes in looking like your typical 1970s porn star, and I love every bit of it.
Oh yeah, he's got the stash going, the beautiful golden hair. I told him he looks like he's in a post-Olympic interview.
Well, I
Nice.
didn't win gold, but I'm here for the podcast. So
You're a gold winner in my books. Now, I got the Irish flag. You got the American flag. We were talking before this. We're going to superimpose some, shit flag, North Korea or something.
You were in the dancing competition, right? You were in the dance portion of the Olympics.
oh, dude, I could kangaroo hop like the Australian Reagan.
Hell yeah!
Oh yeah.
By the way, did any of you guys watch the break dancing portion of the Olympics? So I heard they announced they're upset now because they're not going to have it in the 2028. But it was very different because the way they scored, it wasn't necessarily like, have you ever seen like the b-boy like world champions where they're just doing like all sorts of crazy tricks? It wasn't necessarily like that. You had to do like a standing portion of it. It was kind of like synchronized swimming meets breakdancing. So it wasn't just like get out there and who can do like the craziest badass shit and then be like, what up? Like what up at the end. It was like you had to do like a standing thing. And I mean, obviously it got popular. Yeah.
Originality, like difficulty. What was the other one? There's like three categories.
Yeah.
Maybe it doesn't matter. But yeah, I watched it, and I watched it with the girls. I watched it with the twins, and then they tried to break dance. Like it was hilarious. I was like, no more cartoons. We're gonna put some Olympics on.
Well, that's what it's all about, though. Is like, even me as a kid, watching. I remember watching all the Olympics, and it's like that just inspires you. I mean, I can remember watching like the '96 the girls gymnasts. They had like Dominic Mucciano, Dominic Dawes, Shannon Miller, all those the great girls, and I can remember like putting two chairs together and like holding myself up and pretending like, all right, I'm gonna train my whole life away and be I mean, that's what it's like. That's whenever you're a kid like that, you see that stuff. And what
I said, and that's the first time you busted your head open, right?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. That was actually pretty good.
I tricked myself into doing gymnastics because my sister did gymnastics when we were growing up, and I was 4 years younger, and I was like, I'm bored. I'm sick of watching. Like,
so
I want to do something.
At that point, was it when you realized that you were?
Yeah,
Drew. At that point, is that when you realized that you were gay?
Well, it was like, should I sit here far away from all the girls in spandex, or should I go closer to them?
Be up close? Yeah.
So
I was kind of similar. My sister took it, and I remember I was always, like, I wasn't the fat person that I am now. I was skinny my whole life until my metabolism went away, and I would go out there and get on like the cheese blocks and just like bust a backflip out for them, just like hoping they'd be like, oh wow, we need to get this guy in. Yeah. Like we need to recruit him.
I could do the windmill when I was like, I don't know, like 8 years old or something.
What is that?
Like,
that's like a backhand spring?
Oh, we were talking about b-boying. No, like b-boying when you like swing around.
Oh yeah.
So, but it would be like on the little, almost like a pommel horse. So it's like I could get around.
Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about. I during Little Five.
As soon as you like grow older and you have more weight, it's like
oh man,
It takes way
Oh,
more muscle,
I
but
was just
it's like a
talking to
little
Beth about
kid.
that.
Like those kids can do that. Like
Oh
it's
yeah, you can
like it's
lift your
nothing.
own body weight and stuff. I was talking to Beth about that whenever we were like, because Beth was, she's still a little girl, but she was just a tiny little string bean, and we were talking about how we could like sit on the ground and lift ourselves up, and then pull our legs out under us and go into a handstand. And then like the other night, we were trying to just lift ourselves up, and it was like we were like sweating and grunting. But I was gonna say with the b-boy stuff, I've always seen it on TV, and when I went to Little Five, in my when I was like 18, young teens, and a kid at I think it was Richard Jarbo's place, he could do all that stuff, and it was crazy to see it in person. It was so. I mean, it's awesome whenever you see it on TV, but whenever you see somebody doing that, it's like, how are you spinning like that? It is insane. I mean, it was like so exciting to watch. I was like, don't stop. I want to keep watching you. It's just like whenever you go to like the skate park and you see people doing skate tricks, you're like, do a kick flip, like do more.
I think what like caused it to look a little lame was, it's like daylight and it's just like the lighting and like there's no effects or anything.
Yeah.
And it was just like when you go like this and just like try to pose,
Right.
there's no way to look cool. Like when you're like
Yeah,
posing
especially
like
whenever it's
that
like
with like all the
outdoors.
lights and
Yeah,
it's
open
like
air, and
yeah,
the music is drowned out. It's just like,
I
yeah,
didn't
what the setting, it should have been like in a stadium with the lights off and like lights on
yeah,
them, so you like, the movies where they're like dancing back and forth at each other, the
yeah.
Chris Brown movies. I can't remember what those are called, but
What was it? Step it up or something
yeah. Well, I think that's
or
like
something.
cheerleading.
Oh no, yeah, you're right. I can't remember when that. God, it doesn't matter.
Whatever, it
You got
doesn't matter.
served. You got
Yeah,
served.
you got served.
That's it. Nailed
So
it.
terrible. So Drew, I don't know if you noticed this or not, but I'm wearing a shirt.
You son of a bitch.
Do you have this shirt, Drew?
No, I left it at your mom's house.
Oh,
Big bird.
So on a previous
She
podcast,
wears
I
it
think
as
we
a
talked about it.
nightgown.
Yeah. On a previous podcast, I think it was when we had Ryan on here and he did the
Yeah.
gummy bear challenge.
Yeah,
We
no, I've
talked
heard you
about
talk shit about me many times on multiple different casts. Yeah.
well,
Tell
yeah.
the
I mean, you
background
got
behind the shirt.
when you have people like Ryan and Logan on here who are your best friends that are going to give you shit all the time, then yeah, we're going to have to. But yeah, so we did a burger challenge at the restaurant here in Newburgh, Prime Time, and the burger challenge. I actually have a picture of it here. I'll show you the picture of the burger, but it's like, what would you say, Drew? Probably 5 pounds. 5 pounds of meat.
It was a monstrosity of a burger, and I only saw a picture, so I'm assuming it's bigger in person.
Yeah, I'm going to show you the.
It was pretty big.
I want to say it was probably total 5. I think I remember 5 pounds of meat.
Kevin's
total.
got this skill where he can unhinge his jaw.
Yeah. He's like a
just
snake.
kind of stuff down there.
The gullet.
Yeah, so
He
that's
already
great.
looked miserable. That's like,
oh no,
my
I was
god,
pumped,
what have I got
dude.
myself into?
Dude,
No,
so
I really thought I was gonna do it, and I hit a wall with the cayenne pepper. So
yeah,
I can't do mayo, and there's a spicy sauce on one of the 2 burgers. Was it 2 or 3?
there were 2 burgers, and there was pulled pork and bacon.
Pork. Yeah, that's what it's a pulled pork. Okay, so one of the burgers had like this cayenne pepper paste, and it was a cayenne pepper sauce with like some mayo thing. I was like, hey, can I get like no sauce on it? They're like, yeah, we're not gonna do it. Like, it doesn't count if you don't get the sauce. I was like, well, can you just do like just the cayenne pepper and just leave the mayo out of it? Like, just do the ingredients. They said, okay, yeah, and they just put this layer of like cayenne pepper that was just like covered on the burger, and I couldn't swallow it. Like, it was just like the spiciest thing.
So you kind of screwed yourself by doing that.
Yeah, I was just like chewing it, and I like started cutting it up, and I was mixing it with the mac and cheese, but it was like my throat was just like swelling up from just so spicy. Like,
I get it.
I can't swallow this shit.
And I'm kind of like I can if it's like one ingredient, like the wing stuff, I could probably do, but like I'm kind of picky about my burgers and stuff, so it's like yeah, certain ingredients I would not want on it too, so I wouldn't be able to do it.
Yeah, it was a
Yeah,
good burger. I had a
the burger,
meeting
yeah,
right
the
after that,
burgers were good. I mean,
and
the
just
challenge here, you had to eat both of these burgers. In between the burgers is a piece of fried mozzarella. There's a jalapeno on top, but one of the burgers had like bacon on it, and the other burger had like pulled pork on it. And then you also had to eat that side of buffalo mac and cheese
Now,
in
can we
30
give a shout
minutes.
out to that place or
I
no?
did, yeah. It was prime time,
Prime
prime
time.
time restaurant. Um,
If
but
you're in
yeah,
the area,
so
check out Prime Time.
great
it's called the
stuff.
Beat the Meat Challenge. Or it's called the Meet the Meat Challenge. And when you win, like I did, you get a shirt that says "I beat the meat." So anyway, so you had to finish this in 30 minutes or less, and you got your burger for free, and you got a T-shirt. So the story behind it is though, like I was down to probably like the last minute, and I was still chomping away at this. Like this was like I didn't think I was gonna do it. It got down to the last like 15 seconds, and I think the waitress
You
actually
had
gave me a little bit of extra time,
you
if
had
I'm
a
being
jalapeno
honest.
that jalapeno on the top.
Yeah,
That was the
yeah,
last
I think
thing you
Oh,
took
you
that
had
off
to
the
just
top.
crush that.
I
Yeah,
just
yeah.
crushed it, but I still had it in my mouth. And she goes, "Well, you got to swallow it." And I go, "I had
It's gonna
a
be all
mouthful of
gone. You go,
food."
it's gone. And she goes, is
Yeah,
it
it's
gone? He
gone.
goes, mm-hmm,
A mouthful of food.
mm-hmm. Just go,
So
mm-hmm.
she technically gave it to me, but
I
I mean,
mean, but still,
this
you're
was
right
crazy.
there.
But
That's
yeah, the
worth
most
Yeah,
it.
important part is like this all had to be done in 30 minutes, which
yeah,
is just insane. It's like
That is insane. 30
it
minutes. I was
wasn't
thinking
like
an
too much
hour.
food. And I mean, Kevin was talking a little bit, and like I was thought we were probably we could have done better, but we're
yeah.
like this is insane. Like Kevin, like you just chewing constantly, just constantly chewing, just nonstop,
Yeah.
and we're like this is nuts. Like what's the record?
Right.
And she goes, it was a guy who used to work here. He came in hammered, and he ate this thing in like 8.5 minutes. Is that right? It
Yeah,
was like
Shut up.
yeah. I was thinking nine,
dude,
but yeah, I think that's right.
it was under 10, which is just
Yeah.
makes me want to puke. I was like, are
That
you?
that
I
doesn't
was
seem
like,
realistic.
it's not.
So
I was like, I want to see a video. Like,
So at what
but
time
well,
did
we looked
you
it up.
give
Ryan
up,
and I looked
Drew?
it up.
well, I it was a time thing, right? So it's like it
So
was
you just kept going though.
20. Yeah, no, it was like 29 minutes. I
You
wasn't
weren't. You
full.
didn't like bow out.
Like,
You just kept going.
no, I was like, there's no way. I had like this much left with like a
I
minute
think I might have a
left.
picture of what he had left
Still
too.
pretty
Let me
good.
see.
It's not
Still pretty
much,
good.
and it was just like I was like, I can't chew this in a minute. So I
Yeah.
just like was
Were you
chewing
guys
on
doing
Kevin.
doing the trick where you use the water, like to
A
make it
little
all
bit.
break up in
To
your
be honest,
mouth? Have you ever done that where you like
I
drink
want to do
water
it
with
again
like
now after all this shit
if I
talk.
did it again, Drew, you'd probably agree with me on this. I would take all the bread off, just eat all the meat, and then eat the bread last. I think it would go by so much quicker, and it would go down a lot quicker too.
well, that's like what people do like for the Nathan's hot dogs. They'll eat the hot dogs
Yeah.
first and then they'll put the bread in their mouth and they'll drink water and just
How do you have a
swallow
picture
it
of
whole.
that?
That's what Drew had left on his plate.
Yeah, I
Oh,
just
that's not bad
was
at
like- and
all.
I
That's
literally-
really
I had it-
good.
yeah, I was just like, I have a meeting in like 30 minutes. I was like, I can finish this, or I can just like, I was like, if I finish it, do I get the T-shirt? No. Do I
Yeah,
get it
you
for
do.
free?
You did get the
No.
T-shirt still. You got the T-shirt still, but again, you wouldn't have gotten the bragging rights. And you still had to pay for your meal, I think.
Yeah.
Was that
It
meeting
wasn't-
I think
just
you would have gotten the
miserable?
T-shirt.
No, it's not that bad. It wasn't that bad. I've
Oh,
done quite a
God.
few. I've done quite a few. My picture is still up at Cheeseburger in Auburn, Alabama.
That was
Nice.
another thing that actually brings us. I was going to ask you about. I know you've done some other food challenges. I watched you do a pizza challenge that you also failed. Have you ever won a challenge, Drew? Tell us.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've got a picture in Auburn, and I've got a picture in Carmel. The pizza challenge. Oh, Jesus, you're gonna bring up the pizza challenge again. It's like we're getting ready to go out to the bar. All right, so there were burger challenges. I did well. I got a picture on the wall. The one at Cheeseburger in Auburn was coming off of a cruise, so we had this plan. We were visiting. So my friend Sean Riddle, we
Great guy.
great guy. Best friend, brother. He's a brother from another mother.
He's basically a Londoner now.
Yeah, he lives outside of London. He lives in Clovelly right now, but I think he's getting ready to move. But
Sorry,
We were
long
just
story
visiting him
short,
over
we
the
had
summer.
I saw him a couple months ago, and he should be back in town soon. But we'll anyway. So we had this road trip planned, and we went on a cruise together. And on the cruise, we're like, all right, we're hitting up these food challenges. He apparently got into like diners and dives or whatever the TV show was.
Yeah.
He's like, I've got a plan. We're gonna go to all these places and we're gonna eat for free because we're gonna finish all these challenges. And that's because we were, looking at grad schools and we were just had no money and we stayed at frat houses. He was in a fraternity, I was in a fraternity, and we would just go check out the fraternities, and whichever one was cooler, it's like, oh, these guys seem like real lame. Like, we're gonna go to check out the other one, and like then we stay there, just crash on couches and go visit all these universities. So visiting the universities was great, but finding these diners and these like places, it was cheeseburger at Auburn University, and it was 2.5 pound patties after they were cooked, and I had 2 of those, so it was 5 pounds of meat, and they were like, yeah, here it is, like plain. I was like, can I get like some mushrooms and Swiss? Like, can I get something else on this? And they were like, are you nuts?
You want to
I was
add
like, no. I was
stuff?
like, yeah, please. Like, I just got off a cruise where I'm like, Major D, like, please, one more prime rib and a lobster tail. So we were training on the cruise, and we were literally like stuffing ourselves, like just packing it in, trying to train and just eat as much as we possibly could at like one meal. So we'd only eat like one time, like we would eat at dinner and just like hang out the rest of the day. So I was ready, dude. My stomach was just, I was in my peak condition.
Primed and ready, yeah.
Oh yeah, dude. I finished it and I started eating like fries after. I'm just like, I'm still hungry. Like, this
Were they
is
looking
nuts.
at
Like,
you in amazement? Like,
yeah, the one, she was like, this is kind of disgusting. Like, kind of cute waitress, but anyway. But yeah, go ahead, Kevin. Tell your failure story again.
No,
Go ahead.
I'll let you tell it.
well, I just kind of commend him on.
We did the same thing. Go
I
ahead.
just
I
kind of
want to try
commend you
more
on
after doing that burger.
doing
Yeah.
these challenges, anyways. You know what I mean? Like, that's crazy.
We did a biggest gainer competition once, and I cheated because I was super hungover and dehydrated. But I gained 11.2 pounds in like one sitting.
Oh,
It was lemonade and ham.
Oh my god.
oh.
Yeah.
Do you guys ever watch the Kenny vs. Spinny episodes where they do stuff like that? Who can eat the most meat?
Yeah.
They get like meat poisoning and stuff. I'm gonna turn myself way down because I'm coming in real hot.
Yeah. My dad won this thing at his church. It was like biggest gainer competition, and he gained like 8 pounds or something like that at this like buffet thing, and it was like a big fest like thing, whatever. And I was like, dude, I can beat that. And he's like, okay, yeah, whatever, little boy. Like, so it was just a competition with like my dad and I, and it's like, I think, a cousin or something like that. He like gained like 4 or 5 pounds or something like that, and he was like, what the hell's wrong with you guys? And he just kept going. I was like, just staring at him in the eye. I was like, I think that was the only time I ever hurt. It's like just trying to beat my dad.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he gained 9. I can't remember what it was, but it was over 9 pounds, and I gained 11. And but it was the only reason I won is because I was so like dehydrated and hungover. It's just like, but
you were already down water weight, so you just gained all that back.
It was all water weight. It was a cheat code. I probably had a gallon of water in me, so I had
I used to be like
2
that.
pounds of food and all water.
In wrestling, I swear to you, like I would weigh in and I would eat like a cookie and gain like 6 pounds. You know what I mean? It's like, this cookie weighs half an ounce. How am I gaining 6 pounds off of it? It's just
Jake was hardcore wrestling. I don't know if you remember him from high school or not, Drew. You were a couple years younger than us, but during wrestling season, Jake would just be freaking dead.
A
Dude.
dead
He
man?
was in my homeroom, and he would just pretty much sleep in homeroom all day long. He wouldn't eat at all.
I mean, I probably slept half of my high school career. And remember, Mr. What was the coach? Didn't he become the principal? It was Tracy Wilgus, Mr. Wilgus.
Yeah.
He remember one time in Lifetime Sports, I was like sleeping. I was like hiding in the bleachers, sleeping. He was like this. He straight up said, "I was like, does that guy got cancer or something?" And everybody started laughing. There. Oh, he's a wrestler.
I can hear him saying it.
Yeah, canceled now for saying something like that. But back then, yeah, you get away with that.
Yeah, I'm probably 50-50. I've failed just as many times, but it's always a conscious decision. The one that Kevin's talking about in Florida was a pizza competition, and you had to eat this entire pie, and you get to rename it and add a topping or something like that.
Oh, really?
And I was working my way through it, just like going to town. I was like, this is so much cheese. And I was like, we're going to the bars after this. It's like, I was like, I'm gonna either ruin my night,
yeah,
or win. And I was like, I'm never coming back here ever.
Yeah.
It's like this is the dumbest thing. I was like, no, just gave up. I was like,
so
no.
is it like the next person that wins it gets to rename it again? Just the pizza's constantly being renamed.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I was there twice, so I did the challenge on our tour with Sean Riddle, and then we went back when Logan was going to UCF and went to this pizza place. I was like, let's do it again. And yeah, no, I
love it.
I don't remember.
I can put down some
confirm
pizza.
with Sean. I think is that why I did it?
I don't remember you saying that you'd done it before, but maybe, I mean, hell, it's been 10, 15, well, it's been probably 15 years since we were there.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. I don't want to say I won it, but I'm pretty sure I did, because it was when they like first opened, and I did it, and I think I named it something. We got to check with Sean on that.
Oh, think about the names that you could name it. I would name it something very inappropriate.
That's why I think I didn't win it, because I don't remember that. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah, when you were drinking beer, you were drinking and shit too whenever you did that challenge. Like, you're filling yourself up with beer as well as pizza.
Yeah.
Like, that's not easy.
Well, UCF was ridiculous.
Yeah.
I bet.
It's insane. Like, they had their student center in the center of campus. The campus is set up in rings, right? Because it's all just flooded swamp ground, and they just have moats, like separating these roads and these campus buildings, gradually growing bigger and bigger in circles. And the student center is dead center in the middle, and there is basically a knockoff combination of Hooters and Buffalo Wild Wings, like right in the middle. And they serve tall Yinglings like in the student center for students and everything. They've got a leisure pool like over to the side where it's like, what's a leisure pool? It's like, oh, it's where students go to just like hang out in the sun and like swim. Like,
I wish I could have been there.
Like, on campus? But
that's crazy. I wish I could have went down there and partied with you guys. Now, I remember whenever Logan was going there, we would watch like the UCF football games, and just the football games, because they played in the Buccaneer Stadium, and those would be so hype. Who was it that was their big quarterback? It was Blake Bortles. I think it was Blake Bortles. Yeah. And
I don't know if that's,
he ended up going pro, played for the Jaguars, and so those games because they were like competing. They were like in it.
Was
competing for the national championship. And I think they got that was before the
I remember they had the one arm
tournament, so I think they got screwed out for scheduling. But oh man, those games.
Drew, I still remember this. I don't know if you'll remember this or not, but the night before we went out, we left to go to Orlando. We were partying with you, Jake. We were at my old house on Weinbach, and I think we almost missed our flight because we all woke up like super fucking drunk still, and we like barely made it to Owensboro for our flight.
Oh yeah, that was that cool ass Owensboro to Orlando flight that they used to have.
Yeah.
Do they still have that?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
It was like Mondays for like $49. You come back on like on
Yeah, they
Thursday or
only flew
something.
2 days a week, like Tuesdays and Thursdays or something
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
It was
They do some crazy ones. I think they have a Vegas one that they do. Oh no, they have a Destin one now that they do.
They did have a Vegas one too back then. They
Yep.
don't anymore.
Yeah, that was a weird airport.
Drew, there's another thing too. I remember. So you weren't here for this, but I did. You weren't there for that, but I did a Edward 40 hands one time in like I think under 10 minutes, and I was telling you about it. You're like, yeah, dude, I beat that. You did it like 8 or something, right?
I don't remember. There's a technique, right? So whenever I would win, like every time in college, and then people would just get like, man, I could beat that. Like I could beat you. And they would start to like challenge me, and Edward 40 hands was like, okay, dude, like who else is gonna do it? And like no, everyone was like, no, I'm not doing Edward 40 hands. Like I want to enjoy myself. Like,
Right.
so I was like, I'll do it if you want to do it, but if we're gonna do it one-on-one, one's in a bag and one's open. So like one is covered and one is like clear, right? It's like, okay, yeah, we're gonna do this. So you have to like just figure out it's a game of strategy, and you mess with the other person's head. So you drink, like, obviously you're drinking the one in the bag completely empty, and then you just continue to put the empty bottle up to your face and just
Go
like,
back and
oh
forth.
yeah. So they take their time and like slowly, like they're like, oh yeah, he's still got a bunch left because I've got like a little bit here and all this stuff, and I like slowly get down to here, and I just keep doing this with an empty bottle, and I'm like, oh yeah, just empty the bag, and it's like, yeah, I'm done.
That's
Nice.
funny. That is a good strategy.
Yeah.
I never knew that it was like an actual race.
I just did it by myself.
Shouldn't be. It should not be.
It shouldn't be.
Yeah, if anyone's listening, don't do this at home. You know, like,
Right? Yeah.
God, there was
At your own risk.
we had an incident at the house I was living in college when this all started. It was like Edward 40 hands, and the Hulk movie came out, and the guy who got last somehow was the drunkest. I'm like, how are you drunk? Like, were you taking shots? Like, did you like, what were you doing? And he was the last one finished. I think it took him like 40 minutes, and he had these like, duct tape things. I remember like, I think he had his girlfriend help him go pee once or maybe twice. Like he like was crying all about it. It was like really embarrassing, and we were all making fun of him because everyone was done, and he's like still not done. And there was a spite thing, and he was like, "I have to finish." We're like, dude, you don't have to finish. Like, just stop. Like,
it's okay.
Chill out. And then he goes Hulk smash. The Hulk movie, and he does that with the bottles, and he slices his hand off.
Oh, come on.
And then all of a sudden it's like just drunk people everywhere, like
freaking out,
and it's like bleeding, and I'm like, I was done 30 minutes ago, and I was like, how am I taking care of you?
Yeah.
Like, I was like, man, all right, here, come here, we're gonna wrap you up. I need to go to the hospital. I was like, no, you don't, it's not that bad, like, just calm down.
Yeah. You're not going to the hospital because we're not taking you, for one. You're not going to ruin our night.
Yeah.
But, yeah. I mean, I think I figured that you guys were doing it so fast because you're just like constrained, and you like got like claustrophobia, and you're just like, I got to get out of these things. Let's just chug.
No, for me, it was probably an anxiety thing because like it doesn't take me long to have to pee whenever I'm drinking, and if you're drinking that much liquid, you're gonna have to go pee. So for me, I drink you guys know, I drink everything super fast anyway, and eat super fast. So I mean, I was just knocking through it.
It's all a competition thing for me.
Yeah.
I just
I've never done that. I feel like I could do a pretty good job, but
sounds like we're gonna do that on the next podcast.
I think I've done pretty much everything you can think of.
When you guys have me on again at episode 100 and whatever.
We'll just do episode.
We'll do a 40 hands competition.
Yeah,
there you go.
And then it'll just be us drunk rambling afterwards.
Me just rolling my eyes at you guys every 5 minutes.
It's not that. I mean, if you're doing it with like malt liquor, yeah, maybe we'll be a little.
See, that's what I did. I did it with Magnum 40s.
Colt 45s, Magnums,
Kevin,
Mickeys.
going back to episode 1.
Yes. Yeah.
Whenever we bring, we need to do that soon. I mean, whenever we bring in the, I can't even remember what it was called. I mean, it was some weird name, that NASA drink that gets you drunk.
You know what we're talking about, Drew? Where did you listen to the episode with Adam James?
I did.
There's this chemical, or it's an alcohol, right, Jake?
No, it's not. It's not alcohol. I mean, it's some kind of element, substance. I don't know what it is. I can't remember. We looked it up, but it's not
mowing my
technically
grass
alcohol.
when I listened.
It gets you drunk like alcohol, but it's not alcohol. It's actually beneficial for you. It helps your body.
Yeah.
So,
and it's not alcohol. Like, it doesn't have to go through your bloodstream. It doesn't go through your liver or anything like that. But
So
you get the
it's
same
mushrooms.
effects as being drunk. Yeah, you get the same effects as being drunk. And we've talked about bringing it on and drinking it. But
Just
Kevin, if we do
testing it
that,
out.
you're going to drink it, right?
Well, sure. I'll give it a try.
Yeah.
sounds good. Yeah.
Heck yeah.
I don't know. Sounds
It's got like some weird name, Drew. It's like, this is way wrong, but it's like CF 39140, something like that. That's just like what it's called. Some weird name like that.
Cool.
But yeah, NASA, they were trying to figure out how they could give energy to their astronauts and help them out. And they found out like some of the side effects were that they got drunk, like alcohol. And so it gets you drunk. And now, since then, they've like commercialized it. NASA has a drink out there. A bunch of other people have a drink out there. You can actually get like the pure chemical or element or whatever it's called, and you can take shots of it. I'm sure it would get you there quicker. But like, yeah, they make like seltzers, which is pretty crazy.
That's wild. There was a place in Vegas. I was like, it's like vaporized alcohol.
Yeah.
And you're supposed to like just like breathe it in.
Yeah, Kevin. Now, do you remember whenever we did that?
Where was that?
That was a big thing on Vine, and we did it in your old house on Chestnut. So we got a bunch of alcohol, like liquor and stuff, and we got like a syringe that was like kind of like a bike pump, and we put it in a cork, and we corked all these bottles, and you pump pressure into it, and then pop it out. All the alcohol vapor comes up, and we sucked on it, and people in the videos, I don't think we really felt any effects of it. But I'm sure what you're talking about, it was probably done a lot more, professional than what we were doing.
Yeah. But I mean, I think we got enough stuff for, the beginning of this. I think what we can do is take a quick break here and then come back with some hot topics and some spitfire questions for our boy Drew.
Spitfire questions.
I can't
believe 37 minutes went by that quick. It's just what you do whenever
I want this to be your longest podcast. I know I'm not your first, and your brother was on, and he wanted to be your best, but just give me that.
This one's going pretty darn good.
Dude.
It's funny you say that because Matt actually, Jake, I don't know if you saw your phone. Matt texted you and me and said, "What time am I on tonight?"
I didn't see it. I have to look.
Nice.
He just sent it to us a couple minutes ago.
I should have said, I need you to sub in for me, bro.
Tell him Eggs Benedict can wait till next week.
Yeah,
I want my time to shine.
Yeah. If you watch,
he's actually one of your only guests that I've actually never met. So
Matt's awesome, dude. You really like Matt a lot. Yeah, he's a really cool dude.
We'll see.
Hey, it's my brother. So you got to watch it. But yeah, honestly though, we got kind of scolded a little bit, and I wondered if we would. Before we get off, I wondered if we would. I thought it would be fine because we only played a portion of it, and I know like in a lot of like with radio shows and TV shows, you can play a certain portion of copyright songs. But when we introed him, we had the Bulls theme song playing because he's from Chicago. And so if people have been watching it, they saw me like shouting out stats and stuff, but really there was like music behind that. But YouTube and all the other platforms, Spotify and everything, they took it off. for copyright infringements, even though it was only like 10 seconds of it. But it was really cool whenever we brought him in.
Start buying those like 8-bit soundtracks.
Yeah. So I was like, for now on, I'll have to like hum it, or we'll have to like recreate it.
We'll just have to create our own music. That's why we use OJ Jackson, all the OJ Jackson songs.
Yeah, we could pull like we could pull like a Vanilla Ice. Like it's not.
We changed it. We changed it a little bit. Yeah.
You know, we added one more dit to it, so it's different.
You pull the old Vanilla Ice.
The old Vanilla Ice.
The old Robbie Van Winkle.
That's right. All right.
But yeah, we'll take a quick break and we'll be right back, guys.
All right, see you guys. Bye.
That was definitely staying in.
I'm a big fan of I'm a huge fan of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and they always I follow their podcast and they talk about it all the time, how they couldn't do that. And
you know else? I met Sweet D and Mac, right?
No, you did not.
You did.
Really?
Yeah. All right. And
was it on a plane or something?
No, it was in Vegas. So it was at Planet Hollywood, and it was probably season 2.
I would pretend like he was Chase Utley, dude. That's how excited I'd be.
Dude, we're at the pool during the day. For it was my buddy Alex Purdue's bachelor party. I think it was Purdue's. No, who's bachelor? Somebody's bachelor party. And we were in Vegas, and yeah, it was Purdue, Alex Purdue. And long story short, I have an unconfirmed belly flop competition with Green Man, and I'm pretty sure it was Charlie Day. But he was in the Green Man suit.
You don't know it was Charlie? Yeah, it could have been Charlie. It probably was.
I have no idea.
Especially if Mac and
dude,
it was unreal. It was like belly flop competition, and everyone started doing it, and then Green Man just like shows up and just like just belly
Why
flop.
else would Green Man be there unless it was like a fan that just so happened to have a Green Man costume, was like, oh, Mac and D are here.
No, and no one saw Mac or D at that time, right? This is
gotcha.
This is like before, and we just like see this happening, and Green Man like shows up and does this belly flop thing, and then like there's this other guy and another group of dudes who's like, fuck this guy, fuck that green suit wearing like weirdo. I was like, man, that's
they don't know who it is.
Sunny. It's like, that's hilarious. Yeah. Like that's the funniest shit I've ever seen.
Absolutely.
So he's huge dude, and he's like, here, run and jump off of my shoulders, and like then I was like, okay, dude, and he like crouches down, and I run and like jump off and like pose in the air like that, do a belly flop
and smack,
and then Green Man like does it again and does a flip and belly flops and all this stuff, and I was like, man, that was crazy, and we're like shaking hands. He never took his mask off. He was shorter, and I was like, okay.
Could you not tell from his
the pieces together
Did
later.
you hear him talk?
Yeah, it's rolling.
Then I go to the bar, so Planet Hollywood in Vegas, and we're at the bar, at the by the pool bar, and I like look at this blonde like walking by, and I'm like not glaring, but like I have a resting like glare face, and I'm just like kind of like looking. I was like,
who is that? Yeah. I know that person.
Like, oh, and she like looks at me and like does a double take. Like, what are you looking at? And I was like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to stare. I was like, you look exactly like Sweet D from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Yeah. And she turns and she goes, bitch, it is me, and just keeps walking. And I was like, oh shit,
that's awesome.
I was like, that's exactly what Sweet D would say.
Right,
that's her.
Exactly.
Holy shit.
Yeah. She went into character there too, you know it.
Dude, and so I was like, holy shit, get up. I was like, I'll be right back. Like, it's like bring a drink. I was like, I don't care about drinks. I was like, run down, like chase her down the hall. I was like, hey, I'm so sorry. I was like, holy shit, it is you. And oh my god. And then there's Rob McEwen sitting like right there next, and he's short as fuck.
McElhenney.
Like, yeah. What did I say it wrong?
McEwen. I
Yeah.
think it could be right. McElhenney. I don't know.
McElhenney. He's a nice
That's
guy.
it.
Nice guy. Great. Anyway, great dude. But he's standing there next. He was like, "Oh shit." And Rob, you're with Sweet Tea, Mac. Holy shit, you're here together. This is amazing. Would you mind if I like ran back, you get something like so you can like sign an autograph or something, or like we can take a picture? This is like before. I didn't even have an iPhone. Like iPhones were like not waterproof, so like you don't bring them to the pool.
Right.
Yeah.
So I was like, let me just go grab something. It was like, yeah, that's cool. It's like, run back to the bar, like go try to grab something and come back. And I'm like walking and I'm like running. And then I start walking. I'm like, there's no fucking way they waited. And like get back to that. I was like, yeah, they're fucking gone. I was like, yeah, that checks. I was like,
but then does the wheel start turning? It starts clicking like, all right, Green Man, that was probably Charlie Day.
Yeah, for sure. That's
Definitely.
when it was like, dude, it's all we talked about for the next like
You had
hour and a half.
A belly flop competition with Charlie Day. That's amazing.
We're back with a podcast, Two Bros with Benefits. I'm Kevin.
What's up, guys? And I'm Jake.
And
we got our boy
Andrew.
And
Drew,
this is our
Andrew
guest,
Heilman.
Drew.
Yeah.
This is Charlie, who's actually named after Charlie Day.
Nice.
There you
Or Charlie Sheen.
But we're back, and we wanted to do one of our featured segments, the hot topics and hot takes. And for you all know, we have a little ditty that we like to play before that. So here it is.
Hey, man. I've been thinking a lot lately.
What you thinking about?
Hey! You know what time
it is. That is time for Hot Topics and Hot Takes, where we ask, we come up with unique, funny names for different topics, and we have our guest pick which topic he wants to talk about first. And normally we try to hide the idea in the in the title, so it's not obvious. But our three topics for you today, Drew, are so the first topic is there's a strong Musk in the air. The second topic is Poon Doc Saints. And the final topic is Tsunamis rush in. So those again are there's a strong Musk in the air, Poon Doc Saints, and Tsunamis rush in.
Poondock Saints.
I'm glad you picked
the
that.
Irish flag behind Jake staring at me. I've got to.
So it was the play on words, obviously, the movie Boondock Saints, and I said Poondock Saints. Poon, Poon. So we all remember here locally a couple years ago when they did the pump out at downtown on the Ohio River, and
for ski day.
Somehow a RV camper showed up on the island, and somebody had also spray painted the Poon Saloon on that camper. Hilarious, by the way. That was one of the funniest things that I can ever remember.
What year was that?
Especially happening here. It went viral. It made national news. And
I want to say it was like right before the pandemic. I want to say 2019.
No. This happened in 2022. It happened just 2 years ago.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So the reason I wanted to bring it up is because it's back in the news again. I saw a news article the other day that said they still haven't convicted anybody for this, and they're still trying to determine, like what all happened. I think they probably know what happened and they know who did it. but they
So
just
proof.
haven't convicted anybody. So, and then even today I was telling Jake they announced their Poon Saloon.
Do you have a picture of it?
I have a
I can
series
find-
of pictures of it.
Yeah, find
This
a
is-
picture of it.
This is
Yeah,
from
that's not doing it, Drew. It's your screen's
Yeah, I'll find
too
the
bright,
Poon
I
Saloon
guess.
picture.
So the funny thing about that is like, 2022, man, that wasn't that long ago. I guess people were looking for a good laugh. I mean, people needed a good laugh, but
Yeah,
it's funny. So now, like 2 years later, you're saying
it's still in the news
city's
because
police-
they don't know who's. Yeah, exactly what you're
our
saying.
city's
Sorry.
police department is coming out saying they still haven't had any suspects or arrests for it. It's like, it's almost like, give it up. I mean,
it's not that hard to figure out.
I know.
Yeah, well,
Or-
and Drew, that's why I wanted to talk about it with you, because I knew you and I had talked about this before, and I didn't think of what you had came up with your idea of what happened. Here's the picture. But so Drew, for you guys out there, he was raised on a
Has a
farm.
theory.
He has a family farm, and Drew, if you would share your theory about what you think happened.
No.
You don't want to share your theory.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be
I
incriminated.
don't want to incriminate anybody. So if someone were to try to do this,
Hypothetically,
what would they need? Right?
to get it
Yeah,
out
you
there.
just-
Need a
Would
barge,
you-
right?
Would you? Well, a barge would make a lot of sense. And why would you need a barge, a small barge?
Small.
Well, maybe they
okay.
put pontoons on it. Maybe they did lots of things, but it's a great story. Let's shift the conversation from how they may have done it, because that would be incriminating, into why they may have done it. Right?
Okay, I'm good with
Why
that.
would they have done that? Why?
Do you have a thought on that, Drew, or
I
do you want me
absolutely
to?
do. I absolutely
ahead.
do. Because why not? Why
Right.
the hell not?
Yeah.
Right.
It is Evansville, Indiana. Like, just
It's what we needed.
we got the pump out, right? It's like
Yeah.
let's have a party. Like, sneak in the cover of darkness. I personally take offense to what the Army Corps of Engineers has done to the landing, and now previously it was
The Landing is a restaurant in Newburgh. Drew also lives right on the Ohio River here in Newburgh.
so the Edgewater Grill was there before, and they always had, it was like you could pull up on a boat and go get a pizza, right? So it was a
Right.
dock, and you could park your boat, walk up the steps, go get a pizza, go back
Which
down
is like
on
the
your
coolest
boat.
thing ever you could do.
Exactly, right? So we've got this entire this boat dock that people rarely use now, because there's no restaurant, there's no fuel pump, there's no anything, right? It's just kind of a boat dock to be a boat dock. But the Army Corps of Engineers has moved the channel, right? The channel moves naturally. So the Army Corps of Engineers has basically taken away this riverfront, and the dock is no longer allowed, right? So you cannot dock a boat at the landing when it changed to be the landing. So, this pump out, which is also done, if I hope I'm not wrong here, it's a podcast, I'm like Joe Rogan, don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I'm just gonna say stuff, but who's gonna argue with me, because it's just YouTube. But they do the pump out to dredge the channel.
Yes, that's
barge
exactly
traffic.
why they do it. Yeah.
So
That
the
is.
pump out happens, and it's like, yeah, let's party on it once a year. And normally it lasts a long time, but in 2022 it got flooded, right? So it was, became hilarious, and the amount of videos surrounding the Poon Saloon made me so happy. And like, I was out of town and I was bragging nonstop about like the Poon
made
Saloon
national
and
news.
where.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
so where are you from? So I work remote, and I travel to these different offices. And they're like, "Oh, so where are you from?" And I'm like, "Well, actually, I'm from Sprinklesburg, Indiana,
You're like, do you know
motherfucker."
where the Poon Saloon
No.
is?
Yeah, and I'm sharing like the pictures of Harambe and the Poon Saloon. It's like taken too soon. It's like Harambe, Paul Walker, Poon Saloon, and this is happening in real time, right? It's like,
Yeah.
I know this is probably
Yeah.
reverse for everyone. So this is
No,
happening
we
in real time.
we can see that. We can see that.
And we've got local groups like creating menus on their restaurant. Like, it's like, this is amazing, right? It just took
Yeah.
over. Local, I don't know what you would call it, just fanfare, but just this image, like,
Yeah.
like I've made it my
Yeah,
background.
Yeah, I
so
remember
what
that.
he's showing a
So-
bunch of different memes. He's showing like people with local menu, Poon Saloon menus. He's showing memes.
But yeah,
I mean, it is crazy. And the thing that I wanted to add was, like,
It was right when
it's a good video.
right when,
The pump out. So yeah,
Kim
every year we have this
Kardashian-
big pump out. Every year we have this big pump out, and they put an island in the middle of the Ohio River for us, and it's a big party place. Everybody docks their boats. It's a big party. And what happened is all of a sudden this RV just showed up that was pretty much gutted, and it had Poon Saloon written in the front of it, and they're trying to figure out who did this. And so what I was going to say was, my thing is, like, give it up. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
at that time, everyone needs a good laugh. Like,
for sure.
just get over it. They got it out.
Well, the Poon Saloon became a bumper sticker for a barge, and that was the issue, right? Like, it became trash.
What I was gonna mention earlier is that I do remember it being 2022 because it was right after Kim Kardashian and Pete Davidson broke up, and one of my favorite memes was
fuck.
Yeah,
Really?
one of my favorite memes was
Really?
a picture of Pete Davidson at the Poon Saloon. They're like, I think Pete Davidson's doing okay, or something like that.
I've never seen that
All
one.
right,
That's
all right.
hilarious.
I was gonna make fun of you for like following like
Yeah.
celebrity breakups, but that
Yeah,
actually
that's
checks
funny.
out. I
Yeah, yeah.
retract my what the fuck, and
Right.
I say that makes a lot of
But-
sense.
I think we can move on to the next topic, Drew. So we've got there's a strong Musk in the air, and tsunamis rush in.
Tsunamis.
All right, Jake, you want to take the wheel?
Yeah, so we actually have a video for you to watch before.
All right.
The Russians have a tsunami torpedo.
It starts tsunamis.
Yeah, it's basically a nuclear torpedo. It explodes underwater, causing a tsunami, which can wash, half the United States away.
Russia had produced the first set of nuclear-powered, very long-range, nuclear-armed torpedoes known as Poseidon. Strategic experts are warning that the Poseidon torpedoes would have the potential to devastate a coastal city, causing radioactive floods and result in millions of deaths. Oh, fuck, dude.
The Russians.
Yeah.
Real
So
cheerful
so-
podcast.
Yeah, so I mean that's kind of scary. I mean, there's nuclear warheads, and they just pushed off the coast of Cuba, and that's where these are. So they could really take out some cities down there. In another video I saw. With that being said, I also watched another video recently where we have AI controlled F-16s now, or dogfighters. I don't even know if it was F-16s. I could be libelous by saying that, but they ran these dogfights with human pilots and AI controlled fighter jets, and 6 out of 6 times the AI beat the humans. And then on top of that, I'll say. I mean, I just shared something with Kevin on the newest technology on target tracking with AI, and it was pretty scary. I wish we could show that video for the listeners. They wouldn't be able to see it, but basically, the new target finding AI it's basically shows a red dot on their forehead. You know what the red dot means, and they're trying to hide behind this obstacle, and every time they their tiny little bit of their head pops out, it's just like boop boop. And then another one that I'm going to show another one I'm going to talk about is these killer drones. So I saw this actually a couple years back. We have the technology where we can release these tiny little drone bots, right? We can release them over a city. So we'll use
Drones?
It's a drone. I guess it would just be called a drone. You know, those white drones. So anyways, they
Yeah,
release these
yeah.
they release these micro drones. And they go down into the city and they have fake face recognition on them. And so they just go around the city scanning faces until they find who they need to find. And when they find who they need to find, they fly right down into them and explode right as soon as they make contact with their head.
Where did you see this though?
I just saw this on. I mean, I saw this a couple years ago, and then I saw this
So
was confirmed.
scanning
Listen,
faces.
I saw this was confirmed recently. If you want, I could probably look up the video.
I believe you saw a video.
Yeah. So, I saw a realistic video of I think it was the Ukrainian-Russian war where they used this, and it wasn't what I'm saying where they dropped a whole bunch of tiny drones, but they did drop one, and this drone was set with explosives, and it followed a Russian, not a civilian, a Russian soldier that was trying to escape, and it collided with him and blew up the whole vehicle.
Well, they're using a combination of multiple sources of intelligence here. So
of course,
they're using like heat maps for like seeing inside like through a building or whatever, right?
infrared,
trying to track people, and say you get a positive identification from like one photo, but like a drone doing facial recognition from like even a low altitude is next to impossible, because even if it's like a condensed LiDAR or something like that where you're shooting lasers to get like a facial recognition, like it's just not, like that's not possible. You need some sort of ground intelligence or some additional information, and that's why like Obama gets fried for like how many drone strikes he did.
So you don't believe
unconfirmed
this?
And I don't believe what?
You don't believe that this drone technology?
I believe that. Yes.
I'm not saying you believe me. I'm not the one that.
No,
that said I saw what I saw, and
the camera technology's there, and the facial recognition.
you do know,
there.
like in China, like China's like heavily like facial recognition. Like if you jaywalk, they pick you up and they'll just immediately just fine you and take the money from your account.
Yeah, there's cameras everywhere, right?
So who's to say a drone's not be able to like do something like that? And as soon as it recognizes you, just boom.
Physics. There has to be more input than. It's like it depends. I just don't know what video you're talking about. So maybe, like, if there was like a traffic cam that confirmed a person in a specific place.
You're saying there's too much of a percentage like that it couldn't be that person that.
No, I'm just saying that it's a combined intelligence, right? So say you're in the Middle East somewhere and you get a traffic cam there's a traffic cam that captures a terrorist face, and it's like confirmed target. Check. He's right there. Okay. Now all of a sudden, a drone is flying overhead, or a mini drone is flying, and it's like, all right, we got him. We know where he is. Now we're using infrared. We're using all this, so we know where he is. We've been tracking him for the last hour and a half, 2 hours, just waiting for Tomahawk missile or whatever.
Confirmation, yeah.
Right. Waiting for the go. Right. Waiting for the launch. It's more complicated than just like there's a super crazy drone that could just find anyone and just kill them, right? It's not there yet, but
yeah.
It's maybe
So
like
that
it's 2
video
years
that I was
out.
talking about, that
3
video
years
was
out.
is showing what the future of everything could be. I didn't say that was realistic.
Okay.
That I didn't say that happened, but I did see recently a video of a drone that picked up facial recognition on someone that was a target.
How
That
close?
they ensued. It was up there, and it came down, and you watch it like you watch the whole video where it like lowers down. He's driving on the road, and it just boom, it hits him, and it just explodes the whole vehicle.
I guess the issue I have is like
So I mean, it's always going to come back to behind the scenes where
it's like facial structure and like it's like that's why I don't get my face scanned when I'm traveling abroad. Just for the listeners out there, all 5 of them. I'm just kidding. There will millions of people will listen to this one day, I promise. But for the people out there, you have to realize you don't like if American Airlines or the TSA is like, yeah, go ahead and take your picture, stand up here, take your picture. You don't have to say yes. You never have to say yes, like getting your photo taken. I always say no. We're like, really? Like, he was like, yeah, really. Like, don't take my picture. Here's my ID. I'll be on my way now. And you just walk through. Like, they're tracking. It's not that complex of a system. And there's only so many data points on like cheekbones, and it's like your face changes. And there's false identification all the time. And trusting a drone, even if it is, so when I said focused LiDAR, we're talking about like lasers trying to like make the facial structure of a person.
So my question would be, do you think that the government would care about that? If it was if they have enough
target,
intelligence to think that it was that person, whether they know that it's that person's facial recognition.
I think if it's a high value target, it depends how like important the target is.
Have you ever seen the movie Eagle Eye?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you should watch it. I mean, Kevin, if you haven't watched it, it kind of goes on that. So they thought they had somebody and they didn't, but that was
it
before.
was his twin, right? The Shia LaBeouf.
Right. But the whole movie starts off in that. Yeah, the whole movie starts off in the essence where beer and shot. My beer runner is coming. So the whole movie kind of starts off in that essence where they think that they have somebody, but as far as recognition, but recognition isn't like we had today, and they actually got the wrong people, and it sets off a chain of events.
Yeah, I've seen that.
So
Eagle Eye is like, well, we're incompetent and we can't do that, so we're going to shut down our government. But
it's tough.
But
man.
now our government, I think we're kill and destroy. We don't.
Have you ever let anybody talk on a podcast before when they're trying to say something?
Go ahead.
No, you're fine. So machine learning and like facial recognition, it's like it's not AI, right? It's low level AI, but it's machine learning. Like you're finding like similarities in points. You're finding cheekbone structure. It's not like there's not a cognitive anything happening. It's just comparing thousands. It's a matrix. There's errors.
Of course there is.
Like inherently.
Of course.
So what
Just
I'm
like
the only thing I'm trying to say is like the only way I think anyone would pull a trigger is if it's like a crazy high value. It's like, hey, Osama bin Laden, right? It's like, go back. This is Osama bin Laden. We're 60% sure that this is Osama bin Laden. We're like, well, fuck it. We're gonna shoot no matter what, right? I don't know. I'm not saying that's the right call. I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying, like, if it's a crazy high value
well,
target, are those the decisions that the people base their
yeah. So, like I was saying, what I
fingertips
was
around?
telling
Like,
you about was
I don't know.
that was a futuristic thing, but I did see where they didn't implement like where all these little drones came down and started searching around and looking for facial recognition and killing someone. But I did see a video actually
Oh.
where they did take a drone and they used it and they exploded. They just destroyed a Russian soldier. But I think we should get back to the task at hand is what about this Poseidon? What do you think about it? I mean, like this is that's pretty scary. I mean, they're right outside of Cuba right now with these nuclear submarines that have the potential to cause tsunamis that will take out cities, if not cities, regions of the U.S.
Is it 46 minutes, right? Something like that. I don't know if that's the right number.
What that we have as warning or what?
No warning. It's like before the Holocaust is like complete, right? Something like that. It's once the first missile is launched, counterstrikes start.
Yeah,
So the reason it hasn't already happened is because, the nuclear powers of the world
the
know,
repercussions. Yeah,
right? It's because of the balance.
yeah.
I think if they're, uh, I don't know. It's the no one's crazy enough to kill everyone.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, you're right.
hopefully, right?
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, it's a
Well, I mean, there's
terrifying
that
thought.
Russian soldier that was given the
Minutes to
order
midnight.
to hit the button, and he decided not to during the Cold War.
Right.
And I wish we did have this video, Kevin, but I've shown Beth this video of what nuclear warfare would look like as far as our nukes, where they would go if nuclear warfare hit, and it was just catastrophic, and it was all going to Russia.
Yeah.
And it was pretty bad. It ended up
There-
like 54 million people lost. So I think
there's no iron curtain for hypersonic missiles.
yeah, I think the tension of that. I think
that's not a thing.
I think what we'll see
there's
is
no protection against hypersonic missiles.
yeah.
The only tested protection has like failed like 70% of the time during testing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's terrifying. Why the fuck are we talking about this? Yeah, it's like I was having a good time.
I think it will go eventually. It would just all go towards infiltrate.
We all need to get along. That's
basically what it is. But
so the fact that Russia wasn't at the Olympics is a big deal.
You're right. We just had the damn Olympics, but if we do go to war, I think that it will be a different type of war where it will all be ground, and there'll be Geneva Convention rules where we can't use nuclear warfare.
Nope.
But then you never know, because you got people that are siding with dictators. We got Putin that's meeting up with Kim Jong-un, and he's meeting up with the Chinese prime minister, and so you just never know how it goes.
So it's going to take a crazy person to pull the trigger. And does the crazy person to pull the trigger? All right, let's dissect that person for a second and say they want to be remembered. Do they want to be remembered as the person that like ended the world?
Yeah.
Right.
How do they get to that level of power knowing that,
Hitler.
right?
Adolf Hitler.
Well, he didn't want to end the world. He
Imagine
wanted
if
to
you're Putin
change the world.
and you think you're Adolf
and
Hitler.
he's the absolute devil, right? He's the fucking worst. But he wasn't trying to like if he had a nuke, I don't know, dude. I don't know.
He didn't. If he would have had one, he probably would have used it.
Yeah, and it would just left a little tiny like so everyone would have just been living in Germany and nuked everywhere else in the world.
Right.
Fuck that guy. It's like who's the crazy like who's gonna pull the trigger, right?
Who's a crazy And another thing that I saw,
it's gonna be AI. It'll be AI.
It'll be AI. It'll be self-awareness.
I enjoy talking about this stuff, but like I don't know, man. I'm pretty pessimistic.
Me too.
It's like if something happens, I just hope I'm in the first wave. It's like I wouldn't.
Yeah, right. Me too.
I wouldn't want to be part of.
Yeah, let's get out of there.
Yeah,
dude. I get so paranoid about the. I'm paranoid about the fucking Yellowstone volcano explosion.
Oh yeah,
and I'm just like happy that I'm like kind of outside of the zone where I can like get away from that. And I think
really,
that's
dude.
gonna happen.
Not really.
Do you think about that stuff?
You know, you'll have a flood of survivors, and everything will be just topsy. Like COVID will look like, a stroll in the park compared to the upheaval to society if Yellowstone actually explodes.
I think about all that type of stuff.
This will affect the not even like U.S. will just be absolutely devastated, obviously, but the world economy.
It will destroy our way of everything.
The world grain economy will be absolutely destroyed. Like it is devastating if that shit happens, and it's already what is it, like a couple thousand years overdue?
Oh, it's way overdue.
Way overdue.
Well, did you see
I'm going to Yellowstone next year for my brother's wedding.
Well, there was a cup there. Did you see what just happened at Yellowstone? That geyser that it wasn't the main geyser, was another geyser that just like exploded and like went nuts and almost like killed a bunch of people.
Cool.
They all had to run. I watch that stuff and I'm just like, oh, here we go. It's coming. Like, what do you think the future of war will look like? And how terrifying will it be? Like, I mean, do you think it's going to be robots matched up against robots?
No.
I think it will all be.
I don't think it's going to be robots.
Type, because I think that we know in the Geneva Convention, I think it's going to be written in that we cannot use nuclear warfare. And there'll probably be a dictator that says, fuck it, and does it. And we'll be prepared for it. But I think it'll all be down to ground warfare. And what do you think that will look like?
I think.
Do you think it'll be like robots running against robots?
No.
And we're behind? I mean,
no. I mean, if one country has some sort of like crazy robot to like go in and take out everybody, yes, obviously. But I think.
You don't think that's going to happen?
So I think the infantry thing you're saying is, I think I agree with you. I just when you said this, I went to like nuclear because we were talking about nuclear stuff. I think every world leader, how crazy they are, it's like no one wants to end the world, and they realize how valuable land is, and they want to control. So all they want is control. They don't want to end the world. They want control of the world. So to answer your question, it's like, yeah, it's ground stuff, getting rid of any insurgents, and yeah,
Missiles,
that's probably going to be.
planes.
Well, it's like you don't want to destroy too much, right? It's like
Right.
occupying enemy territory. It's like you don't want to have, it.
Fallout.
Yeah, you don't want any kind of pushback later on. You want to do it with as light of a hand as possible. You want to take over, get rid of any insurgents, and let the people live, right? It's like control of territory doesn't mean you have like a buildup of, a couple billion people to move into these new places, right? You can't just go in and murder everyone in all these towns and just move in new people. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
You can't just take over territory. It's
not like
more,
it used to
it's
be.
more complex. There's culture. There's
unless you're from North Korea, which they have North Korea, the last time I looked, which this was a couple of years ago, they had the 4th highest military in the world, which is kind of scary.
No, it's not that scary.
For being such a small country to be the 4th highest.
Very malnourished.
And that's the one that you got to worry about.
That's not the one you have to worry about.
Well, I think what you have to worry about is Russia coming over to China, and China is wanting to take over Taiwan. They've been wanting to take over them for a long time.
Yeah.
Those Taiwanese countries. And that's scary. So it's like
it's very scary.
They back each other up, which we've been protecting. Then it's like, do we go to war with Russia and China?
Over Taiwan?
Over a territory like that.
Let's talk AI, because it's way less depressing than nuclear holocaust, you fucking maniacs. Jesus Christ.
There's a strong Musk podcast. In the air is the last topic. So, Jake, you want to introduce that one as well?
Yeah. So, we can't get away from AI. And I think that it's just going to be a topic that just constantly is going to come up in our podcasts. And there's so much to talk about with it. But we have a couple videos for Drew to watch. And, I don't want to say too much. And then we'll watch these 2 videos and then we will discuss. I'll say a little something afterwards and then we'll discuss it. So, Kevin, if you
I'm going to cue it up.
First one pulled up. Yeah, cue it up.
Yeah. So there's a lot of people from my last video saying that nothing's coming, nothing's going to happen. I'm paranoid. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'll tell you like this. This is where I'm working, okay? I'll read that. This is where I'm working right now.
Tesla.
The man who owns that company, I'll say Elon Tusk. Y'all know Elon Tusk. Find the rhyme, the rhythm. He has us working 12-hour shifts, 7 days a week. I'm an electrician. I wire up all the machinery that they're using to build the trucks. I'm wiring up all the machinery that they are using to build these robots, okay? We are working 12 hours, 7 days a week. I have worked for TikTok. I have worked for Amazon. I have worked for Samsung. I have worked for Fortune 500 companies all year. Nobody is pushing their people like this, okay? 12-hour shifts. He's trying to complete this for something. I promise you, bro, as soon as these robots go online, it will kill 80% of the job force. All you people driving trucks in restaurants, don't think this can happen in Japan. They already have robots serving tables. They already have nurses that are being robotically projected from monitors to help patients. Your job is not safe, okay? 80% of the workforce will be killed by these robots. As soon as he puts these AIs inside of these robots, I promise you, bro, they will think, be smarter, faster, and they do not need to sleep, bro. We call in. I called in 3 days ago because I worked 6 days straight. Robots don't do that. And that's what they're pushing for, bro. Have you sitting at home with a real ID, with your dead now money, taking free governmental universal income, slave, bro. Victim to the system, bro. They do not want you out here moving how you want. They do not want you collecting resources. They don't want you to do anything without their knowledge, bro. They want to track every transaction. They want to track your whereabouts. They want to know what you're thinking, bro. And all they want to do is monetize and commercialize that. It's that mark of the beast. The mark of the beast is taking things that should not be for money or for sale and making them for sale, like your soul, love, things of that nature, bro. And y'all saying it's not coming, but it's right around the corner. I promise you, bro, this is coming. Where I'm working right now is proving that. This man sends drones on the top of the buildings, drones inside the building to count how many people are working at all times. This is not a game, bro.
You want me to go ahead and just play the second one too, Jake?
There will be fewer and fewer jobs that a robot cannot do better. What to do about mass unemployment? This is going to be a massive social challenge. And I think ultimately we will have to have some kind of universal basic income. I don't think we're going to have a choice.
Universal basic income.
Universal basic income. I think it's going to be necessary.
So it means that unemployed people will be paid across the globe.
Yeah.
Because there is no job, machine, robot is taking over.
That's simply and I want to be clear that these are not things that I wish would happen. These are simply things that I think probably will happen. And if my assessment is correct and they probably will happen, then we need to say, what are we going to do about it? And I think some kind of a universal basic income is going to be necessary. Now, the output of goods and services will be extremely high. So with automation, there will come abundance. There will be almost everything will get very cheap. I think the biggest. I think we'll just end up doing universal basic income. It's going to be necessary. The harder challenge, much harder challenge, is how do people then have meaning? A lot of people, they derive their meaning from their employment. So if you don't have, if you're not needed, if there's not a need for your labor, how do you? What's the meaning? Do you have meaning? Do you feel useless? That's a much harder problem to deal with.
Yeah, so that's
cheerful messages.
That's tough to listen to, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I've heard that. That's what keeps me up at night, right? Not the nuclear holocaust.
So
it's
apparently my wife, she just shared with me that Musk is supposed to release a girlfriend robot here recently, really soon. I guess the girlfriend robot will be released before the working robots. I don't know. She sent something to me about it, and I think that is a real thing. But my question, I guess, would be to you is, what are your thoughts on this? Also, what are your thoughts on universal income? I mean, I'm all for universal healthcare, universal education, but
yeah, I don't have my hat down here. I was a proud supporter of Andrew Yang.
Same.
During the last,
I like Andrew Yang.
Right. So I was part of the Yang gang. I've got a hat. Just math to make America think harder. I was talking to this was, oh my gosh, was that 8 years ago? So 8 years ago, Andrew Yang's talking about AI coming for, it was the time of like Tesla semis, and it's like semi-truck drivers are going to be out of a job. Oh my God, there's so many people that drive semi-trucks. Obviously that hasn't happened yet. But, the idea of, him talking about, it's not semi-truck drivers. It's machine learning, which is not AI. It is machine learning. It is a form of AI, but it's a very low level.
Have you not seen the AI semi-trucks being driven? I've seen a Mercedes Benz.
Yeah, but that's not the point. The point is that radiologist, right? For example, would you want, if you had a scan of your body done, would you want a radiologist to look at it, or would you want a computer to look at it? A computer with a copy of every scan in the history of scans and
A computer.
noted by a doctor, right? It's like, that's a tumor, that's a tumor, that's a tumor,
A
right?
computer.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course you would want that, right? So we're not talking about blue collar jobs. We're talking about very white collar jobs. It's like your lawyer. Or your doctor. What is a doctor? A doctor is a person that goes to school and memorizes just endless amounts of
No,
information
we're talking about blue
and
collar
test
jobs
case.
too.
We're talking about everything. It's like
Yeah.
if we're talking about the history of human knowledge being condensed and learned by a graphics card in a server, right? So we're talking about text being turned into very complex matrices of information, and that network is essentially, it's already better than a human brain. So so quantum computing, solving issues. So this is
Right.
this is not really
what are you
AI,
saying?
but this is
Are you saying AI is going to do this?
it's already doing this. So
It
there,
is.
without talking about my employer or anything like that, there's already an AI doctor that is better
Yeah.
than any doctor you've ever met in your entire life.
I mean,
Guaranteed.
yeah.
So it exists, right? It's been
I
developed.
mean, like
right?
Ask Jeeves was like a primitive version of it. I mean, like,
No, this is not some WebMD bullshit. This is something that is done with you go into an exam room and you talk. So those computers that are in the exam rooms are listening all the time, right? Your disclosure when you go and check in to an exam room or whatever, you go to the doctor, sign your waiver. It's being recorded. So
yeah. So
it's removing your personal information, but it's also learning. It is learning so that it can like help make, the healthcare industry better. I don't think it's necessarily like there's nothing negative or anything like that. It's like
you
this is
don't think?
better. It's
Okay,
like
time out. That's what I was gonna ask. So you don't think that you aren't terrified of this happening for people?
I think my biggest concern is about like my children and what they are going to learn in school, right?
Yeah.
So
I
what
agree with that. I was thinking about that earlier.
when
Well,
they
what are they going to
when
do
they
when
get
they get out of school and they don't have a job and they're just on universal income?
even before
That's
that,
terrifying.
I think the problem comes before
That's
job, right? No. I think
in
it
the
comes
realm
before.
of communism. That's what I was going to say. That is in the realm of communism.
Well, it also could be just the age of just, sitting on our laurels and just relaxing and taking it all in and just a return to nature. Who knows, right? I don't want to be really pessimistic, but I think the concern for me happens before like the job, right? The concern for me happens in this current age, like say a high school student where an AI is coming out and it's changing every day. Every day gets better and better, right?
Yeah.
So, hey, so just recently, I'm gonna mess up the like terminology, but there's a tier of math problem that they didn't think AI had the creativity to solve, and it recently hit that peak where it's like creates its own proof, right? Something that someone would work for like a year on and create their own dissertation and create a proof. AI is already there. So AI is already like PhD mathematician. So when you tell a kid you got to learn your multiplication tables,
right?
Why?
Yeah.
Like when they say why, Dad, why?
I don't have a good answer for you.
Exactly. I don't. I really don't. And it's like that's my concern is
But
the
that's what we're moving into.
the
So
predecessor to that.
our kids gonna, but then our kids gonna become dumber and dumber because we're saying, oh, you don't need to learn this
Idiocracy,
because
the movie, right?
yeah. I mean, well, think about Crocs. They chose Crocs. The Idiocracy, the movie, they chose Crocs because they wanted to choose something that no human would ever choose as a shoe, and then it became famous, and now
That's
we
fucking
wear Crocs. We're living in it. I mean, but I don't want my children to have to like, oh yeah, I can just ask this, I can just ask that. I mean,
yeah.
But they're already
again,
there.
I have
that's-
another question.
So that's a
Yeah.
big concern. It's like so, and that's another. So the issue with AI is the training data, right? So AI is being trained on data from the last like however long the data is, right? So when did they start collecting the data? So a lot of social media data and text data, like this is all exponentially grown, and
Yeah.
the AI models are learning from text data from the most recent years, right? So these are volatile years in terms of like human interaction, and it's learning from large data sets that are most recent because they want their thing to be the most relevant. But it's also really volatile. So it's like it's not learning from books from Alexandria's library. It's learning from Twitter. It's learning from Facebook. It's learning from Meta. Like it's learning from this trash, right? So it's being trained
Yeah,
on
I saw the
terrible
AI is.
things.
Somebody said the AI really isn't real. It's just what it is just spitting out everything that we've put into it. But
Exactly. So yeah, so they are making advancements with many modules, so like ChatGPT Mini. You can train things specifically on, and you can input your own data. I've built my own GPT based off of data that I put in. It's you can it's machine learning essentially, large language modeling. I don't know. What's going to happen to the kids is my biggest fear.
well,
right?
my question is like, since a
What's
large
the
percent
drive?
is
What's the
probably
drive?
a large percent is going to be taken from AI, obviously, jobs, which is sad. Do you think that the rest will be mostly outsourced? I mean, to like cheaper
Outsourced to
countries
what?
that pay cheaper wages. I mean, think about
That's
like
already. I mean, that's already happening. Like that's happened.
exactly.
That's
So
happened for
it's just
decades.
it's just going to get worse and worse.
That's consumerism, and it's like the American economy. Uh, I don't know. I think so. In terms of like AI depression, right? In terms of job loss, so I think my biggest problem with this is like AI is. I think it's fantastic. It's got a lot of potential, and it can create an amazing society for humans. I think humans will have a hard time keeping up with AI in terms
Right.
of policy and universal basic income. Like it'll be
But
a
you're kind of
long
not
time.
answering my question. Like, are you okay with with all this? Like, are you okay with
I don't
us
have a
everybody
choice.
losing their jobs?
What am
And
I supposed to do? Picket line? Like, am I supposed to stand outside with a sign that says "No more AI"? Like, it's beyond all of our control. It is. If we don't, when I say we, who the hell does that mean, right? Does that mean does it mean Llama? Does it mean Claude? Does it mean ChatGPT? Does it mean Gemini? Whatever language model, large language model, whatever AI company takes over first, that is out of our control. So I'm cheering on all the companies in the U.S., hoping China doesn't get there first to create like an AGI that takes over all the other ones. And I mean, the jump from basic, so AGI, which is like controversial. A lot of people don't like that term because it's the Turing test, right? So to become AGI, you have to pass the Turing test. And
yeah, so everybody who doesn't know what the Turing test is like when you try to talk to a computer and like see if you can discover that it is actually a computer. So the computer is trying to trick us into thinking that it's actual human, right?
Right.
And we ask it crazy questions, and we can determine if it it doesn't understand basic human emotion, or.
And it's not that simple, right? It's not. Like these models are trained to do specific things, and
they're starting to pass these tests.
But a test is a test. Like that doesn't matter in my book.
Well, think about
what matters is like freedom to grow. It's like if something, it's just so once like it actually becomes like AGI and it is like cognizant of its own like position, or like say it like gains consciousness, whatever that looks like, whatever consciousness looks like. How do we define consciousness? When you wake up in the morning, you're conscious. How says who, right? Says you.
Right.
You're the only person.
This is a simulation anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Now we're talking. Now we're talking.
Oh,
this
so I could have brought that up. I could have brought that up. That could have been one of our conversations. So next time you're on, I'll bring this up. I'll bring up simulation.
But think about this. Think about this. Say it has this idea of consciousness. This whatever you think of consciousness. It's different than what I think of. It's different than what Kevin thinks of.
Yeah.
It's different than what your listener thinks of. But as soon as that thing wakes up and it has that consciousness, and it also has the backing of every document of all time, every document that it's ever been trained on, all the human knowledge of history that it's been trained with, it's going to rewrite itself. It's going to create another version of itself and bury it in a server and just create the next version of itself and just keep going.
And that kind of goes into simulation because
super intelligence is so like everyone's worried about AGI. I'm not worried about AGI. I'm worried about the immediate peak into super intelligence and what happens there, right? So I don't think we're as close as what everyone's like, everyone's freaking out about jobs and everything like that, which, I am too. I'm, what the hell is going to happen?
I think that peak will come soon.
I use AI every day. I use it every day.
Musk is about to release that girlfriend robot, and then I think after that the other robot's coming. But no, I mean, it's funny that you were talking about that because I've been saving simulation for a long time. It's an AI topic that I've been wanting to talk about, but we'll save it for another time. But I mean, you are correct on that in the fact that it's growing exponentially. So what is to say that our technology is growing so exponentially that we have to be simulated? In the past 40 years, the way that it's grown. Anyways, never mind. I won't talk about it.
No, it's you're spot on, man. It's
no, I am spot on. I mean, I know. And
statistically speaking, we're in a simulation.
The only way, 99.9% is what they say, is that we're in a simulation. And the way our technology has grown exponentially in the past, 100 years, the only way we have to go is to get to the route of creating our own simulation.
Well, if this is a simulation,
who's to not say that we are simulated?
But if this is a simulation, you have to ignore history a little bit, right?
Yeah.
You've got to ignore history a little bit. You have to assume that that is part of a simulation put there on purpose.
So I was talking to Beth about this today, and this has nothing to do with the simulation, but so now we have AI technology that can, as long as they hear a piece of your voice, they can create anything they want, right? They can make this. They can make Barack Obama look like Barack Obama and say whatever Barack Obama wants because they have a picture. They have a piece of his voice.
I did that at a conference last year with my own face. They had me saying all kinds of crazy shit. They did it in 30 seconds.
So what about
George Washington?
What about nobody in the history now? Nobody in the history of the world knows what his voice sounds like. Even if somebody wrote it down, he had a deep voice with a guttural blah blah blah. No, we don't have any.
You talk about George like that, bro.
There you go. We don't. Yeah, we don't have any. We don't have a clip of what his voice sounds like, so we can't do that. But nowadays, as long as we have a piece of your voice, we can
picture. Yeah.
And well, we don't even need a picture. As long as you have a piece of your voice.
That's why.
Yeah, we can.
So every listener out there, listen to this closely. If you get a spam call, you don't recognize the number. Don't say hello, but don't use your voice.
George Washington.
Just answer it, right? Or just change your voice. If you say hello, like just say something weird, because 100%, like there will be. Yes, exactly.
I do it all the time. I just say, hello, my parents died in a train wreck.
So what are we talking about here? Are we talking about voice simulation? We
got off on a tangent.
I mean, we covered a lot of it. I mean, I think that's a good place to stop to go on to our next.
I mean, it is. That's scary. That's really scary.
And guys, we are back with Drew. We're here to do the fun segment of Spitfire questions for Drew. And to do that, we've got a little tune that we like to play. Let's get weird. Let's get weird.
Hey, pass me them bath salts, dog. I'm trying to get real
weird.
It's time to get weird again. And we've got some fun. Weird. We've got some fun Spitfire questions for Drew. So we'll get right into that. Drew, the first question. This is going to be a tough one for you. Would you rather accidentally send a dirty text to your boss or a sexy voicemail to your mom?
Boss.
Explain.
You know your boss?
Bro, are you fucking nuts? That's the dumbest question I ever heard.
Yeah, Next. That was dumb. I know my boss. I know my boss would be funny. He would laugh at
my boss would be too.
What would you say? Something voicemail? What was the voicemail?
A sexy voicemail to your mom.
Yeah, dude. Are you fucking nuts? Yeah, obviously, boss.
I mean, if you guys know my family,
I know my boss, so it'd be okay.
Yeah.
But, I mean, not everybody...
Kevin's mom would be mortified.
Yeah, I've sent
my mom. My mom would be like, "Oh, I know that wasn't
dirty.
To me."
How dirty is this text message?
It's pretty dirty.
How dirty are we talking about?
It's pretty damn dirty, bro.
Oh yeah.
Talking about
I
butt
want
stuff.
To.
Ooh. Okay.
Is your boss a male or a female, Drew?
It's a male, so that makes it
different. Yeah.
So it'd be like.
This is your boss, though.
No.
It'd be something that could get you fired, Drew. It'd be something that could get you fired. How about that?
Well, I'm thinking about my follow-up text.
And that's what you got to think about.
I'm saying
that's what I would say if I.
So it's not his name. I'm gonna redact his name, right? We'd be like,
yeah, I'm so sorry.
Hey, Aaron. Sorry, wrong Aaron. Right? That's my follow-up text. Wrong Aaron.
Yeah. I think I would just be like,
that's the end. But no. That's the end of it, and we'll never speak of it again.
Right.
Yeah.
So, you're exactly right.
Next question.
Yeah. Good one, Kevin.
Hey, I thought it was great.
Yeah, my
All
mom
right.
would love it. I would just be like, "Hey, Mom, I meant to send that to this person, and you got it. Sorry, get over it."
We'll move on to a marry, fuck, kill question.
Marry F kill. We try to keep it PG around here.
Dude, we've already cussed quite a few times on this episode.
You're right.
So your three Mary F. kills are actually some amazing TV dads. We've got Danny Tanner, Bill Cosby, and Tony Danza.
Oh, you got to think about this. Don't get canceled. Don't get canceled. we have responses for each one that you have to say.
All right, one more time.
Danny Tanner, Bill Cosby, or the man, the myth, the boss, Tony Danza.
So kill Cosby, obviously.
Oh, racist. You could have got free Jello.
Hey, you had that ready, dude.
You could have got Jello and a lot of drugs.
Canceled.
Nah, dude. Obviously, he's a little twisted.
He's the one that you gotta kill. Yeah.
Yeah, you
gotta
kill
him.
Cosby. So that's easy. I'm gonna fuck Tanner. I'm gonna marry Danza because I feel like we're gonna have more in common.
So you want
Kevin?
Yeah. So you want to be told how to live your life all the rest of your life because he's the boss.
No way, bro.
He's the boss.
No,
who's the boss? It's Tony Danza. That's who's the boss.
We would
He's
banter.
the boss in the relationship.
The banter would be phenomenal. We would go back and forth. We would argue about where we're going to lunch. We'd be married. It'd be like a normal married relationship.
But in all reality, in the end, he's the boss, and he wins.
And also, Danny Tanner, right?
Yes.
Who are we talking about here?
That's Bob Saget.
We're talking about
Full House.
Yeah,
you're
Bob
married
Saget.
to.
So I saw Bob. So Bob Saget, rest in peace.
Yes. Great.
So
Great.
I recently watched Entourage.
Yes, he was awesome on that show.
Entourage had their 20th right?
Yeah.
Right? So they had the 20th year anniversary, and I rewatched that shit because
one of my favorite shows of all time.
My broke ass roommate in college did not pay the cable bill, so we were stuck to DVDs of the OC, which I refused to fucking watch, and
I never heard of
Full
it.
House.
So we had a DVD stack of the Entourage and the OC, and it was like, yeah, we're obviously watching fucking Entourage. So we watched the entire series of Entourage as a little community, and Danny Tanner Bob Saget,
The actor.
So Bob Saget is fucking hilarious.
Yes,
Bob Saget is hilarious.
He really is.
And he gets
got a bad
all
rap
the time.
But you got to separate yourself. It's Danny Tanner.
Yeah, you're not fucking
Bob Saget.
You're not fucking Bob Saget. You're fucking Danny
Bob
Tanner.
Bob Saget is a pervert, and it's
he's a
yeah. So I'm definitely gonna fuck Bob Saget.
Yeah, but you're not fucking Bob Saget. You're fucking Danny Tanner. You're fucking the dad on Full House. He's the character. You're fucking the character.
Oh,
Danny
so I'm
Tanner.
unleashing the secret Bob Saget that lies in the. Yeah, no.
Yeah,
dude.
you just ruined
Danny,
10 seasons of. You ruined 10 seasons of.
I didn't ruin shit. Bob Saget ruined it all. Bob Saget television. Is a freak, bro. Listen to him.
Danny Tanner.
Dude, he wasn't really that. He wasn't really that
Saget
freak.
Is a freak.
He wasn't really like that. The reason he got a bad rep is because he was a comedian before this, obviously, but he was so wholesome and so like good dad on that show. That's all anybody ever knew him about.
He got
typecast. And then he went back out into the comedy scene, and he went back to his normal comedy routines.
And he's vulgar.
And he was vulgar as fuck. And people just didn't understand how to take that because they're so used to seeing that wholesome, goody dad who vacuums the fucking floor 8 times a day. So
it's really sad that he did pass. But
no, I like Bob Saget a lot. I was a big fan.
That was one thing that I always loved about Bob Saget was like, I knew him from America's Funniest Home Videos and Full House, and then after, he got back into the scene, and it was just like, wow, this guy is hilarious, and he's not like who he portrays.
Yeah,
he portrayed a great character.
Yeah, for sure.
In being a host and being, the dad, because he is vulgar as shit.
But Drew, what's crazy too, even on Entourage, that's a character. That's not him. So that was written by Doug Ellen, the dude that wrote Entourage and wrote every season of Entourage. And I've even heard him talk.
I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
He didn't.
I do. I know. Even Jeremy Piven.
Danny Tanner. My Danny Tanner is Kevin, and Entourage driven.
Wait. And Entourage, because I've only seen a few episodes of Entourage. I need to watch it. But did he play himself, like his normal self, or did he was like vulgar and stuff?
Yes, he was very vulgar.
He was like, he played a cameo.
Yeah. He was on like 5 episodes probably total.
Yeah, he was talking about fucking hookers. And he was talking about like it was wild, dude. It was like,
if I remember correctly, like the episodes that I did watch, it was like everybody kind of played themselves, like even like
a version of themselves.
John, what's his name?
John Stamos was on.
Who's the other guy from?
Who's the other guy?
John Stamos. He played himself in the episode, right?
Yes, but everybody played themselves, but it's just like Curb Your Enthusiasm. That's not really Larry David. You know what I mean? That's just a character. But
that's why I need to watch that. I need to watch
Entourage
that show
is awesome.
For sure.
It's definitely top 5 favorite shows for me. I want to say it's my favorite, but I don't know if I can actually say that. But it's up there for sure. All right, Drew, we'll have one more. I got one more Would You Rather that we can go with. It's not the greatest, but it'll be fun to hear.
Wait, time out. But he married Tony Danza, right?
Yeah, so we get to tell him how he gets to tell him how to live his life.
So so Tony Danza is your boss.
Interesting. All right. One more Would You Rather. Would you rather let your wife choose every movie you watch together for the rest of your life, or pick every restaurant you eat at for the rest of your life?
Oh, interesting.
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
Wow, dude. Oh my God. So the internal
my
monologue.
Wife picks horrible movies.
This is the worst question for a podcast I've ever heard, because the internal monologue is like fireworks.
Yeah.
I am going through every movie. I'm going through every restaurant. Oh boy.
I think I know my answer.
This is tough, dude. This is tough.
The thing is if you let them pick the...
And also, I know my wife's going to watch this.
Yeah, and if she picks the restaurant, it's going to take forever. That's the wrong thing.
Man,
it's like...
I think I'm okay with the restaurant, but I'm not a picky eater like you guys are. That's what I'm saying. Like, I can find something to eat at every restaurant.
I'm good with the restaurant too. I always have something I can eat everywhere. But it's more. It's not more picking it. It's more the fight of
the fight of where
deciding.
It is. But she gets to decide,
right, Drew?
Yeah.
All right. Say it one more time, Kevin.
All right. Would you rather have your wife pick every restaurant you ever eat at for the rest of your life, or pick every movie you watch for the rest of your life?
Definitely not the movie.
I would be able to do the movie.
I could do. She doesn't. My wife doesn't like my wife doesn't like rom-coms and stuff, but like
I could probably
her
do
picking
either.
a fucking
could
place
probably
to
do
eat
either.
Alright.
is
No, I'm going
absolutely
food.
tiring.
All right. So, all day, food.
Yeah,
I
food
think
all day.
I think it'd be food. Yeah.
Yep.
Jess and I always like dinner is always like it's not an argument, but
Listen,
it's always like what are we gonna do? And I don't really care ever. So
Nope.
yeah, I told sorry, Drew, before you get on this, I told my wife, I said, no matter where you choose, men have something they want to eat. And if you literally leave it up to a man, they have like there are 3 places that they want to go, and they'll say they want to go, but they don't say they want to go because they want you to pick.
yeah,
and that's all I'll say.
You nailed it.
Nailed it.
All right.
Yeah, we're
no, it's an obvious choice. If you picked movie, you're fucking insane.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to deal with movie.
I love my wife's choice of her, like she introduces me to new movies, and I love that. Right. So
you're not the movie person. She's the movie person.
I am definitely the movie person,
but
she's also a movie person. Like so
she tells you about like the Hallmark movie shit.
No, just every here and there. It is what it is.
See, Jess likes a lot of scary movies, and it's not like I don't like them. Jake knows. I just usually just don't really get into
Kevin's
them.
picky. He doesn't like scary stuff. He doesn't like
fantasy
Kevin doesn't
shit.
He doesn't like fantasy stuff like Lord of the Rings or like Harry Potter.
I'm good with a podcast or a documentary.
Nice.
Get over yourself and watch something fun.
Yeah.
Have an imagination, asshole.
She's open to anything cinematic wise. But food wise, I'm in charge.
There you go.
Yeah.
Nice.
No, I'll watch anything. She's like, "Hey, watch." If she says, "Hey, watch this," I'm fucking in.
That's how I am too, usually.
Like, but it's more than that. It's like if she says, "Hey, watch this," like, "Whoa, bitch, what?"
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I haven't heard. What? Watch this? I have not heard you say this in like a year and a half. What are we talking about?
So you're into it. Yeah.
It's like, wait, watch this. I'm in. I trust you. I love you.
See, I'm like the opposite.
Right? It's like, you're the love of my life. I'll do whatever you want.
Yeah.
I'm in, dude. I'm just like, I'm fucking in.
That's awesome that you say that. That's awesome that you say it because I just overload my wife with shit. So she's just like, what? I can't handle it.
I can't watch all this.
Right. So whenever I do finally say like, yeah, you need to watch this, she will watch it. So I love that you said that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's the watching thing. The food I can deal with. The watching stuff, I'd be on my phone the whole time. If I threw that in there too, and you have to watch it. Like if we said that, it would be hard. I'd have to choose the food thing for sure.
Yeah, but most of the shit that my wife like has me watch, it's really cool. It's really interesting. It's like my wife's in some dark ass shit, dude. I mean,
it's not like Jess is into weird shit, but
like a kid was raped and killed, and they're trying to find the murderer. You know what I mean? So like, I'm like, oh, I'm into this. You know what I mean? Like, I want to find this murderer.
I'm into those types of shows for sure. I love those, and so is Jess.
Yeah, that sounds bad.
Yeah, I mean, it is. It's my wife is into depressing ass shit. I mean, she watches like SVU for like
Yeah,
her.
Jess watches that too.
Yeah, it's like that's like her day television on. I'm like, this is the most depressing shit. It's like children being kidnapped or children being raped and murdered. I'm like, that is so bad. But the movies I like because it's always like they always find the murderer. You know. Let's get hey,
Drew, thank you so
the,
much for being on, bro.
Did you ever announce the? We announced the winner.
We announced the winner, but we do have to ask a question for from last week's episode. So
yeah,
last week, if you remember, we had our brother Matt Bivens on, and at the beginning of the episode, we talked about a rider that he sent over to us that he wanted to make sure that we had all of this stuff for him in his room whenever for him to agree to do the podcast with us. He basically gave us a list of demands of things that he wants and needs from us. So the question this week will be, name one of the things that he listed on his rider to us. And if you get the answer, you know the answer, send us an email at twobroswithbenefits@gmail.com or comment or, whatever. Reach out to us one way or another about it, and we will send you some swag. So the question again is, what was one item Matt had on his rider that he of demands that he wanted from us?
And I'm about to purchase a bunch of hats. So
weird. Let's
get weird. I'm about to purchase a bunch of hats. So I think hats will be in the future of being sent out to people. Yeah. So
before you buy them, we need to. Well,
comment,
we'll buy them together.
Email. Yeah.
Let's get weird. Drew, thank you so much for being on with us tonight, man. We love you.
Bro, you're amazing. I still think that you're half an Olympian. But I do love you so much. I really appreciate you coming on here and talking with us for a little bit.
Oh, yeah. We got some good shit tonight, brother.
Bronze at best.
Well, hey, I do. Oh, right. You know what? Before we go, I do have one more question for you, Drew.
Ask him.
I got one more question for you, all right?
Okay.